Well, good morning all. Sorry it's been a while and everything since I've been on here. Tammy and I, we just got over COVID again. This is the second time around. This time it pretty much kicked my butt. Getting better. Well, as you know, a lot of people that follow my page on YouTube know I'm a second generation rockounder. And that's taught my dad's brothers and brother-in-law and sisters, some of their spouses. And 1962 is when I started started getting interested in rockhounding rocks. They just amazed me. And this has got a little story behind it. And it's kind of odd that it's the same year that I started rockhounding when this Montana moss agate was found. A little story behind it, and I'll get to it. But when I was young, that's probably about 7 years old, and I would hang out with my cousins in town in Roundup, Montana. Had a bunch of boys and girls playing everything, and then I'd see my uncle cutting rocks in the basement, be cutting Montana moss agate. And I'd just go down there and sit on a stool and watch him cut all day. And he'd always tell me, he said, "Mike, why don't you go out and play with your cousins and brothers?" He says, "No, I'd rather do this." And he'd go, "Oh, whatever then." And he'd just continue cutting, and I'd just watch, absorb everything that he did. And then he was my dad's sister's husband. And then another uncle, Uncle Dick, that's my dad's younger brother, or Henry, my dad's younger brother, and he taught me a lot about fossils, arrowheads, and stuff like that. And we used to hang at his house a lot, and he'd show us the ropes, and I'd see all the stuff that he collected, and he had some pretty interesting stories. He was a gold miner, and he did a lot of everything. He had an oil field company, and I used to work for him in the late 80s and early 90s. And he taught me how to fossil hunt and collect arrowheads. Sometimes he'd come on a job site, and he'd grab me and tell the ramrod that he's taking Mike and spending the rest of the day with him. And the guy couldn't do nothing about it. Uncle Henry owned the business. So I learned a lot that way too. And then I got another Uncle Willis. That was my dad's older brother. And he taught me a lot about fossils. And he taught me how to run some of the equipment and everything. And he'd come down to my yard. That's where I piled all my fossils and rocks and stuff, by a tree. Never come in the house. I could hear a car pull up, and then I'm wondering who it was. And then I hear this whistling. And my Uncle Willis, he was a whistler. And I could hear whistling out in my yard, and I'm going, "Oh, it must be Uncle Willis checking my rocks out." And I'd go out there, and he's under the tree on his knees going through my fossil pile going, "Good one, good one, bad, 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 good, 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 bad." And I'd go out there and I'd talk to him for a little bit, and he'd look at me and wink, and, "You're getting better, Mike." And then he's, "Well, I gotta go." And then he'd leave, just whistle to his truck, and off he'd go. About every couple of weeks he'd come down, and he says, "You know, you're getting better and better at this. I think I'll just leave you alone now." That's kind of funny. And then that was my three uncles. And then I found out my dad was a closet rockhounder. When he passed away, my brothers and I were cleaning out his stuff out at the farm, and brothers found a rock tumbler, Lorton. And they told me I could have it because I'm the one that was into rocks. So I took it, and then my other brother found a big castle of tumbled Montana rock that Dad had tumbled. A beautiful job. He did really good, but I always wondered why he was a closet rock hounder and never told anybody. But Dad was that way. He never talked to anybody. He kept everything to himself. But I got both of them in my collection. I use the tumbler just about every day, and when it does break down, I just get new parts for it and keep on tumbling. And that's from the 1970s, and it's what, 2024, and it's still going pretty strong. Which comes to this. I got an Uncle Peggy, I got a cousin Peggy that lives in North Dakota, and we started talking back and forth, and her mom and her dad were rockhounders too. And Delma, that's my dad's sister. And in 1962, they were out rockhounding in eastern Montana, and her mom, Delma, found this Montana moss agate. It's a 4-pounder right on the nose. And it's the biggest agate that I guess my aunt's ever found. And why it never got cut, it always stayed in the collection. But when Auntie passed away, Peggy inherited it, And she kept it for all these years. And she told me she was going to gift me a rock that her mom had found. And I just got it last week, and I was amazed when I opened it up. Look at all the root beer colors. It's got some blues, root beer. It's got some blacks, full of dendries. So yep, I'm gonna cut this rock. And it's got a cavity here. I don't know how deep the cavity goes, but I'm gonna do some exploring with this rock. And got a better light out in the shop to where I can get a good light display on it. But yeah, she's full of dendries. This was an amazing gift. So I got Uncle Willis. I got an Indian relic from him. Uncle Henry, I inherited some arrowheads that he had found, relics, and I got some fossils from him. And my Uncle Dick, I got fossil and some rocks and stuff that were gifted from him to me. He's the only uncle left alive. And now Aunt Delma with this 4-pounder Montana moss agate. She's a beauty. It's heavy, it's dense. So that tells me one thing, it's nice and solid inside. And right here is a healed fracture, so I ain't worried about that. And that goes that way, comes up, comes over, and goes through here. And then it kind of stops right there. So it's going to be an interesting cut. I can't wait until spring to get into it. I'm going to keep it by my chair. And I'm going to look at it every now and again, and then it'll come to me what I want to do with it. But half of it I'm going to keep. I'll just cut it in half and work it. And I think what I'll do is I'm going to cut it right in half here, this way. I'll probably work all of this. Or maybe, I don't know what I want to do. I'll tell you when I get it cut in half. I'm either going to save this part or I'm going to save this part. And we'll go from there. And then I'm going to gift my cousin with some stones out of it too. We'll see which way I want to do with this. But yeah, Montana moss agate. And it's got a lot of sentimental value to me. Sentimental value is worth more than the value of the stone itself. But, nice chunk of history here. And just imagine what was going through my aunt's mind when she found this on the river, Yellowstone River, over by Glendive, Montana. It's, like I said, it's heavy for its size. Beautiful stone, beautiful stone. But yeah, that's it, and a little bit of story why I'm a rock hounder, 2nd generation, nothing better. And we got some 3rd generation Van Dykes coming out of the woodpile too that are into this, and that's good because they're going to be blessed with a lot of stuff that Uncle has to them. So, as always, thanks for looking.